Next up in the One From Every Team series today, I want to go over one potential award winner from all 32 NHL teams. I'm excited for this one because this is a video I've actually never done before on the channel. A lot of these One From Every Team videos are updated lists from previous years, but this one's brand new, so let me know how you guys feel about this concept. And of course, as always, I want to know your guys' thoughts, so if you disagree with any of my picks, let me know what your list would look like down below in the comments. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. We usually go in alphabetical order, starting with the Ducks. Let's go in reverse alphabetical order today. Start out with the Winnipeg Jets, and this was an easy one for me. Definitely think their most likely award winner this season has to be Connor Hellebuyck. Connor Hellebuyck has actually won the Vezina before back in 2020, and his numbers this season are better than that Vezina trophy winning year. He's rocking a .931 save percentage through 17 games. He's got 11 wins, second in the NHL in goals saved above expected, only behind Ilya Sorokin of the New York Islanders. Hellebuyck has been lights out this year, such a massive reason why the Jets are where they are right now, why they've had such a good start to the season. If he keeps this up and maintains this pace all year, have to think he's going to be a Vezina finalist and maybe even win it. The Washington Capitals are up next, a team that's not having a great year. For their most likely award winner, I went with Alex Ovechkin, even though he's not scoring at the torrid pace we've seen him score at, the past 3-4 seasons. He's only scoring at about a 42 goal pace right now. That being said though, would anybody be surprised if Alex Ovechkin goes on an absolute tear and, scores 3 hat-tricks in a month or 2 in the same week and gets right up there amongst the leading goal scorers in the league? I know I wouldn't be surprised by that, so that's why I went with Ovechkin here as their most likely award winner, and of course that award would be the Rocket. Next up we have the Vegas Golden Knights. I'm definitely going with Logan Thompson on this one. I think he's going to be right there in the Calder Trophy conversation all year long. If the season ended today, I definitely feel like it would be between him and Matty Beniers of Seattle. Logan Thompson is top 10 in pretty much all the goaltending categories in the National Hockey League. Amongst rookies, obviously he's number 1 in all those categories. He's been fantastic so far this season for Vegas, and if he keeps it up all year long, it'd be hard to imagine him not being a Calder Trophy finalist at the very least. The Vancouver Canucks are up next. Definitely didn't think I'd be saying this heading into the season, but Bo Horvat is in contention for the Rocket Richard right now. Definitely think he has to be their most likely award winner up until this point. Third in the entire NHL in goals right now with 17 in just 24 games. The only players in the league with more goals than Bo Horvat, Connor McDavid and Jason Robertson, who had another hat-trick last night, continuing his ridiculous pace. We'll talk about him a little bit later, but Bo Horvat has been excellent for the Canucks so far this season, and he picked a good year to have the best season of his career because it's a contract year for Bo Horvat. He's a UFA at the end of the season, and the dude's going to get paid. The Toronto Maple Leafs, for their most likely award winner, I'm definitely going with Mitch Marner on this one. I think this is a guy who could easily finish the season in contention for the Hart Trophy. In my eyes, he's definitely been Toronto's best player so far this season. He's on, an 18-game point streak right now. I feel like Marner could easily finish this season with over 100 points for the first time in his career, and if he does that, and the Leafs are potentially one of the better teams in the league, maybe even win the President's Trophy, I mean, they're up there right now, I could easily see him getting some Hart Trophy votes. The Tampa Bay Lightning definitely have to go with Nikita Kucherov as their most likely award winner this season, and I feel like that award would definitely be the Art Ross. He's up to 35 points in 23 games now, which is about a 124 pace. Have to imagine if he keeps that up, he's going to be among the league leaders in points. Kucherov has been on an absolute tear over the past couple of weeks, is quietly having an unreal season. This season is really on par with the one he had back in 2019 when he won the Art Ross and won the Hart. The St. Louis Blues are up next, and for their most likely award winner, I definitely have to go with Ryan O'Reilly here, and that award would be the Selke Trophy. He's finished top 5 in Selke voting every single year dating back to 2019, the year in which he actually won the Selke. He's been regarded as one of the league's best two-way centermen for a very long time now, and although this season I don't think he's quite on the level that he has been in years past, so I don't think he is actually going to win the Selke, but if there's anybody on the Blues to win a major award this year, I feel like he has the best chance. Next up we have Seattle. I want to give an honorable mention to head coach Dave Haxtell. I think he's going to be in contention for the Jack Adams, but my pick has to be Matty Beniers. Like I said earlier when talking about Logan Thompson, I think if the season ended today, the Calder would definitely be up for grabs between Beniers and Thompson. I think those two have kind of far and away been the best two rookies in the league this season. Beniers has been especially hot lately. He's on a 6-game point streak with 12 points in that 6-game span. He's literally the number 1 center on a team that's been one of the best in the league so far. Unreal rookie season for Beniers. The San Jose Sharks, a very obvious one here. Erik Karlsson may very well win the Norris. He has been a monster, leading all defensemen this season in goals with 11, in total points with 32. This season by Karlsson has really been a nice, pleasant surprise. I mean, I didn't think there was going to be much reason to watch the Sharks at all this year. Erik Karlsson alone has made them a watchable team, and I also didn't really think Erik Karlsson was ever going to be able to get back to playing at such an elite level, but here we are. He looks like prime Erik Karlsson right now. The Pittsburgh Penguins, another easy one here has to be Sidney Crosby, who's having a season that I don't think is getting talked about enough. He is still one of the absolute best players in the league, tied for 6th right now in terms of total points, and there hasn't been a more productive player at 5-on-5 this season than Sidney Crosby, as he's currently 1st in the league in terms of 5v5 points with 27. If Crosby's able to maintain this pace all season long, the Penguins make the playoffs, and couple that with maybe a couple guys in front of him slowing down, I don't think it's too crazy to think that we could see Crosby as a Hart Trophy finalist this year. The Philadelphia Flyers, hard to imagine anybody on that team winning any hardware this season, but if I had to pick one, I think it has to be Carter Hart, whose record is still above 500. He's 7-6-4 currently. His numbers have came down a little bit because the Flyers have been awful lately, but he still has a .914 save percentage, and he's still 3rd in the league in terms of goals saved above expected. The only goalies with more goals saved above expected is Connor Hellebuck and Ilya Sorokin. So overall, Hart is still having a great year, and he's playing behind a completely awful team, so that's gonna count for something, right? The Ottawa Senators are up next, and I'm gonna go with Shane Pinto for the Senators. I definitely think there's still a chance he could finish as a finalist for the Calder Trophy, even though his production has came down from his first couple weeks of the season, pretty much ever since Josh Norris went down with that injury, which I kind of thought would have the opposite effect. I thought Pinto would, get more ice time, get more opportunity, but I guess that kind of comes with playing against tougher matchups and all that kind of stuff, so it makes sense as to why his production has came down a little bit since Norris went out. But overall, still having a really solid rookie campaign at both ends of the ice. If he can get that scoring production back up to what it was like, the first 3 weeks of the season, he can definitely get right back into that Calder Trophy race. The New York Rangers are up next. I'm definitely going with Adam Fox on this one, who has been unreal to start this season. I think there's a good chance he could potentially win his 2nd Norris Trophy this year. His points per game this season is actually quite a bit higher than the year in which he actually won the Norris back in 2021, and obviously when it comes to defensemen, it's not all about points, but Adam Fox is an elite defensive player as well. It seems like he just gets better and better overall every single year. The dude's a beast. The Islanders, a really easy one here. It has to be Ilya Sorokin, who I would honestly be surprised if he's not a finalist for the Vezina at this point. He has been unbelievable this season. He's top 10 in wins, top 3 in both goals against average and save percentage, and he's also the league leader in goals saved above expected by quite a wide margin. He's been the Islanders MVP this season without a doubt, and at worst, a top 3 goaltender in the league. The New Jersey Devils, I'm going with Lindy Ruff on this one, the first coach of the video. I think there's a really good chance he wins the Jack Adams this year, which is kind of crazy considering he was getting booed and there was fire Lindy chants in their home opener. But man, what a turnaround for the Devils, not even just from last season to this season, but from their first 2 games of the season to where they're at right now. 19-4-1, first place in the league. If the Devils wind up winning the President's Trophy, I mean, I would almost say Lindy Ruff is a lock to win the Jack Adams, but even if they don't and they're like 3rd, 4th in the league but win their division, I still think he'll win the Jack Adams. The Nashville Predators, I'm going with Roman Josi for this one. Before the season started, my Vezina Trophy pick was actually UC Saros, but based off the way he's played so far, I don't think I can pick him here for the Vezina. So if anyone wins an award this season on the Predators, I do feel like it would be Josi, even though he isn't quite playing as well this season as he did last year when he almost had 100 points and still didn't win the Norris, so I do think it's pretty unlikely he wins it, but again, I do feel like of anyone on the Nashville Predators, Roman Josi has the highest chance of winning an award this season based on what we've seen so far. The Montreal Canadiens, I'm going to go with Caden Gooley on this one, who I feel like is having a really underrated rookie season. Among rookie defensemen this season in terms of ice time, he is 3rd, only behind Sanderson and Power. He's 4th among rookie defensemen in points, only behind Sanderson, Power, and Addison. On paper heading into the season, the Montreal blue line looked abysmal, and so far this season it hasn't been. It's been fine, and I think a big reason for that is the likes of Caden Gooley coming in and playing so well as a rookie. So if he keeps this up, also playing in a big market like Montreal, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets some recognition for the Calder. The Minnesota Wild are up next. I'm definitely going with Kirill Kaprizov on this one. I think there's a chance he could win the Rocket this year. He's on pace for 52 goals. You have to imagine if he keeps up scoring at that pace all season long and some other guys slow down, he's going to be among the league leaders in goals. The LA Kings, kind of a surprising pick here maybe for some, but I'm going to go with Philip Deneau. I think there's a chance he's in the Selke Trophy conversation this year. He's a guy who usually finishes top 10 at worst in Selke voting every year. Never a guy that's really in the top 3 or so, but voters fatigue is a thing, and maybe if people start to get sick and tired of voting for, Barkov and Bergeron and the likes of those guys every single year, on top of that, Deneau is on pace for a career high in points, so that could help him get some more recognition. I think maybe we could see him kind of slide his name into that conversation and be a serious contender for the Selke. Speaking of the Selke Trophy, my pick for the Florida Panthers has to be Alexander Barkov. Shouldn't have to explain this one too much. He's in the conversation for the Selke every single year. He won the award in 2021, and I really don't expect that to change this year. Barkov is one of the best centermen in the league, especially when it comes to 200-foot play. Moving on now to the Oilers, obvious answer here, Connor McDavid, and when it comes to which award, I mean, take your pick. He's going to be in contention for the Rocket, the Art Ross, the Hart Trophy. If I had to go on a limb, I think I'm going to say he's going to win at least one of those awards, so, I mean, it's obviously McDavid for the Oilers. The Red Wings are up next. Not many players I could see being in contention for any major award, so I'm going with another coach here. I'm going to say Derek Lalonde could be in contention for the Jack Adams. As of today, the Red Wings are occupying a playoff spot. They have one of those wildcard spots in the Eastern Conference, and for a team that has been in the basement of the NHL for so long now, for Lalonde to come in his first season, and if the Red Wings can actually hold on and make the playoffs, I think it'd be hard not to give him some consideration for Coach of the Year. The Dallas Stars are up next, and it's kind of the same as to what I said with McDavid. It's Jason Robertson for Dallas, and when it comes to which award, I mean, take your pick. He currently is second in the NHL in points, only behind McDavid. He's first in the league in goals with 22. Dallas is an amazing team. I think Jason Robertson is going to be a Hart Trophy candidate as well, so I mean, take your pick to which award he's going to win, but I feel like if I had to put my money on one, it would be the Rocket. The Columbus Blue Jackets, a team that doesn't really have a whole lot going on for them this season, but for their most likely award winner, it has to be Kent Johnson, and obviously that award would be the Calder. As of today, he has 11 points in 18 games, which has him tied for 7th in points by a rookie, and the difference between 7th and 2nd is only 4 points, so he definitely jump up easily with a hot stretch. The Colorado Avalanche, definitely going to go with McKinnon on this one. I feel like he could definitely be a Hart Trophy contender. Still can't believe this is a guy who's never had a 100-point season, even though he's scored at like a 100-point pace in like each of the past 5-6 seasons, which is pretty crazy. But so far this season, I think McKinnon's on like a 125-point pace, so as long as he stays healthy, he should be able to shatter that 100-point mark for the first time in his career. And obviously Colorado's an amazing team, so you have to imagine if McKinnon stays healthy, he's going to be a guy that could get some Hart votes. Next up, we have the Chicago Blackhawks, and I don't like to do this because it is a one from every team video, but I have nobody for the Blackhawks. I mean, they don't have a top rookie, they don't have a defenseman who's going to be anywhere close to Norris contention. Same goes with goalie in the Vezina, and usually you would think Patrick Kane could be a guy that could, be one of the league leaders in scores, but even him, he's not playing up to Patrick Kane's standards this season. He's only on like a 63-point pace, so for the Blackhawks, I had to go with nobody. The Carolina Hurricanes, I'm going to go with Andrei Svechnikov on this one, and I think the award he could potentially win is the Rocket. He's currently tied for 6th in the league in goals with 14. That's a 47-goal pace. This is a guy with unreal finishing ability, and I wouldn't even be surprised if his pace increases and he maybe hits the 50-goal mark. I think he's really that good of a finisher. Next up, we have the Calgary Flames, a team that has been pretty underwhelming to start this season, but for their most likely award winner, I'm going to go with Elias Lindholm, and the award I think he could win is the Selke. He was the runner-up for the award last year, obviously was beat out by Patrice Bergeron, and I don't really think Elias Lindholm is going to win it this year because he's having a worse season so far than he did last year, but still he's a guy that I expect to be in contention for that award. And there's really no one else on the team that I could see in contention for any other major awards, so I had to go with Lindholm here. Next up, we have the Buffalo Sabres. Definitely going to go with Rasmus Dahlin on this one. Also, honorable mention to Owen Power, but Dahlin, I expect him to be a finalist for the Norris if he keeps up at this pace. He's second in the NHL in terms of points by defenseman. The only defenseman with more is obviously Erik Karlsson. Rasmus Dahlin is finally having that massive breakthrough season that everybody expected to happen eventually, and it's not like he's been bad in recent years. He's obviously still been good, but he has really turned into a superstar this season. The Boston Bruins, I mean, take your pick. Honorable mentions to Patrice Bergeron, who could obviously win the Selke. I think Pastrnak is going to be in contention for the Art Ross and maybe even the Hart, but my pick is actually goaltender Linus Ullmark, who currently leads the NHL in wins, leads the NHL in goals against average, and leads the NHL in save percentage. All of the major goalie categories, Linus Ullmark literally leads the NHL. He's also 6th in goals saved above expected. Ullmark has been a monster this season. The Arizona Coyotes are up next. A bit of a surprising one here. This guy kind of came out of nowhere. Matias Masili, who I think could easily be in contention for the Calder Trophy. He is currently 2nd in points by a rookie this season with 15 in just 19 games, which is certainly not bad at all for a guy who was a 4th-round pick just back in the 2019 draft. Already looking like a steal. And now finally finishing out the video with the Anaheim Ducks, my pick has to be Mason McTavish, and obviously that award would be the Calder Trophy. Not quite having the rookie season that everybody expected. He was really one of the favorites for that award coming into the year. Does have 11 points in 24 games, but like I said, like the difference from having 11 points to being 2nd in rookie scoring is only 4 points, so if he gets hot, he could really shoot up the rankings. So that is going to wrap up today's video, going over one potential NHL award winner from all 32 teams. Like I said at the beginning, I want to know your guys' thoughts, so if you disagreed with any of my picks, be sure to let me know what yours would be down below in the comments. Also, like I said, this is a new concept. I've never done this on the channel before, so if you enjoyed this video and you want to see it every single year, be sure to drop it a like. That is the best way to let me know that you enjoyed. And last but not least, if this was your first time checking out the channel and you want NHL content just like this all season long, be sure to hit that subscribe button, and I'll talk to you all soon.